Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. It is Wednesday, and that means that it's time for a whiskey library review. Now, I meant to get this up on Friday of last week. Time got away from me. I didn't manage to get it up. But here it is. Today we're talking about Signatory Vintage non-chill filter. This is a Bunnahabhain Staoisha, which is their heavily peated offering. It's 9 years old, matured in a first fill Pinot Noir red wine butt. Sorry, it's finished in a first fill Pinot Noir wine butt, and it is bottled at 46% alcohol by volume. Now, before I get into looking at that, if you like this channel, you'd like to see more videos such as this, and you'd like to support me in a more concrete way beyond just liking, commenting, and subscribing, which, by the way, do a lot to help the channel, and I really appreciate it. I'm selling ballpoint twist pens and rollerball pens turned from French oak cognac casks, held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. If you know, you know. I also have a TeePublic shop, and you can get merch with my channel logo and an alternate logo there. There will be links in the description down below. And now, let's talk about this. So, for those of you who don't know, Bunnahabhain is an Islay distillery. They are most chiefly known for, producing one of the few unpeated regular production single malt scotches on Islay. Islay is sort of renowned for their peated Scotch production. Distilleries like Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, Bruichladdich, which produces both the classic laddie, Bruichladdich, that is unpeated, as well as the Port Charlotte, heavily peated, and Octomore. You've got Kilchoman, who produces peated malt. You have Bowmore, Cool. I mean, sort of when you say Isla, people think peat. And Bunnahabhain doesn't typically have peated malt in their barrels or in their bottles. But this is the exception. And it is absolutely beautiful. Right up front, you're getting lots of the classic Isla peat. There's salt spray, tar, burning ropes. There's some crushed grape. Sort of an interesting um bittersweet nuttiness in there too. Again, this is bottled at 46%. The nose is nice and rich and full. It doesn't have any alcohol burn. But it's a nice, present, well-rounded, smoky, and rich nose. And now for the palate. On the palate, that Pinot Noir finish really pops. You get sulfury, sweet grape skin, a little bit of just the edge of rotting ripe fruit, a little bit of a tarry, rubbery note. It's all got this nice fog of smoke rolling through it. a little bit of sea spray and like herbaceousness to it, cut and dried vegetation. Really a beautiful warming dram. 46%. It's not chill filter, no color added, but it is a nice, manageable, approachable proof point too. So it's not screaming at you the way a lot of high proof scotches do. It's got some beautiful depth to it. Um, I will say the finish is where it kind of falls just a hair short. So it's rich, it's full, and then the finish turns just a little bit ashy. And there's a note on the finish that really lingers and clings. That's like if you've ever cleaned up like cigar ashtrays and you've like bumped it and like unsettled all the um the partially burnt and fully burnt tobacco ash and soot and stuff, and it has a really distinct smell, burning vegetation, and a good chunk of the lingering smoke on the finish takes on that character. It's not too detracting, but it is a prominent note, and if you have a dislike for that, it will kind of catch you, and you may not enjoy that. Mm. Overall, it does have this wonderful maritime character that I really enjoy. Um, it's nice, it's rich, it's got layers of flavors that you can peel away and always find a little bit of something else in there. I really enjoy it. And as much as I love it, I've got to say it isn't really my favorite um peated scotch. Um and I'd say that while it is a deeper and more nuanced expression than say Ardbeg 10 and less aggressive than Port Charlotte 10-year-old and uh more more developed than Bowmore 12. Bowmore 12, by the way, if you've never had it, the primary note that I get on Bowmore 12 is if you took a bunch of cardboard boxes that were soaked in seawater and threw them on a bonfire. Um, and that's like the smoke character that I get off of it, and I don't get a whole lot else out of it, and it's very flat to me. Um, and it isn't as medicinal and like cloyingly rubbery as Lafroig. So it sort of sits in this interesting point where it's got all this nice rich nuance to it and no like major flaws except in my personal opinion that little bit towards the tail end of the finish that is just cigar ash. Um it doesn't jump out at me. It's not a really big bold in your face flavor. It's not super exciting, but it is an excellent dram. That brings me to the 3 questions that I always ask and answer. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. I love the unpeated Bunnahabhain. I'm on, I think, my 2nd or 3rd bottle of the regular 12-year-old, but it isn't my favorite peated whiskey from Islay, and it isn't my favorite peated whiskey overall. Um, and that brings me to number 2. Do I think it's a good value? For what I paid for this, I think that it is a pretty good value. The youthfulness keeps the peat nice and lively. That Pinot Noir finish brings in some nice, um, like bright fruit top notes, as well as some interesting. I'm pretty sure that's the source. Sort of slightly sulfury rot notes that really are interesting. They're not bad. They're kind of like almost on the edge of too ripe. You know what I mean? Um, but it was kind of expensive, especially since it came from the UK. I mean, all Scotch does, but this bottle is a UK market bottle, not available in the States, and it was imported, which makes it a little bit expensive. Do I recommend it? If you can get your hands on some Bunnahabhain Staoisha through an independent bottler such as Signatory, absolutely. If you see independently bottled, like, okay, if you go to Binny's in Chicago, which is one of the places where I know that they do carry Signatory in the States, and you see a Signatory bottling of Bunnahabhain Staoisha or unpeated, you should pick it up because Signatory always picks really good barrels, and they're frequently sort of not a not a bad representation of the distillery, but maybe not something that is the distillery style. So, like, this is a Staoisha, which they do sometimes release under their own brand, but it isn't what you think of when someone says Bunnahabhain. It is very different. It is fantastic. It is really interesting. And so yeah, I'd recommend it. If you see it, pick it up. Um, and then with all that out of the way, just a quick reminder, if you want to support my channel, down in the description down below, you will find links to my Etsy shop where you can buy pens, bowls, um, pens made from French oak cognac cask. It was used to finish an American single malt whiskey, as well as walnut catalpa, which is a domestic hardwood native to the East Coast US, and some other cool pens. Sorry, talking myself out. Now, let's see what we're going to be reviewing on Friday. We'll start by clicking Hide Choice on that. Let's see what we get. Ooh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Another Friday Ride. I can't wait to talk about that. This is going to be a good one. I don't have it within reach because almost all my Virginia whiskey is all the way across the room, not necessarily easily accessible to me where I'm sitting behind my bar. So, and that calls for a change of the scenery behind me. Um, and and I hadn't planned on doubling down on changing the bottles behind me for every video, but somebody brought it up and thought that it was cool, so I'm going to keep doing it. Um, as always, I like talking to you guys. Thank you for letting me, just ramble about whiskey. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay happy, stay geeks. Sláinte.